with Lucescu, obviously you mentioned injuries and stuff there. You know, he's played a lot of younger players with Dynamo this season, and I'm, you know, I think this is the Scouted Football podcast. We have to commend that. But you know, the likes of Illya Zabarnyi and Denis Popov, who are, I bungled them together, but they're 18 and 22, so they're you know they're pretty much at differing ends of the, you know, young player development spectrum. But you know, there's two players there who I'm really, really fond of. Popov being a player that we watched really, really intently at the Under-20 World Cup back in 2019, which we'll get onto. But out of those two, Zabarnyi and Popov, I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate here again, but who's your favourite, Andrew?
I mean, if you asked me this question, I guess 6-7 months ago, it would probably have to be Popov, just because of, you know, the memories of that Under-20 World Cup, the sort of, he's put in a sort of few big performances in the Klasichne, the Shakhtar Dynamo derby over the past season, and he's, you know, he's sort of started to make a name for himself at centre back. However, since Lucescu came in, he drafted in Illya Zabarnyi from the Dynamo Academy straight into the side. He made his debut in the UCL playoff against AZ, and he's sort of kept his place ever since at 18. And I mean, I think France Football or something has ranked him as like 21 in the best under 21 players for 2021. And I mean, he's only been playing senior football for about 4 months.
Yeah.
So, and he's already made his Ukraine debut, kept a clean sheet against Spain. I think he's slowly taking over Popov's position as my favourite, I guess. I think Popov would benefit from moving abroad. I think he was linked in the year after that World Cup. He was linked to somewhere like Ajax or something. I think that would have been a good place for him, maybe to get a bit more of a footballing education compared to what's been going on at Dynamo, because I think he just needs a bit of guidance, and I don't think he might be able to get that too well in Ukraine. Whereas Zabarnyi's still got a few years on him to you know, progress. And I think, yeah, he's going to be a big player for years to come. Where he's going to end up, no, I wouldn't be able to say that just yet. But yeah, he definitely looked really promising.
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of how steep learning curves come, I think his was possibly the steepest I've ever seen. You know, over sort of just over a month long period, you know, he was playing for Ukraine's under-21s, which for an 18-year-old is pretty impressive regardless. But then was playing regularly for Dynamo, and then called up to the senior national team, you know, played full 90s against France, Germany, Spain, as you mentioned. You know, he was part of that game against France where the team lost 7-1.
Yeah,
that was his Ukraine debut. You know, that I mean, that humbles you. But to come out of that, come out the other side, and have strung together this, you know, this amount of games, you know, all these appearances in prestigious competitions, and for a club who, let's not forget, you know, it's historic in Ukraine with Dynamo. You know, to be doing that all at 18 years old is pretty impressive. So I think I'd have to side with you on that one there.